Okay, I got your plan open in X9, and the problem is you got a gable lined up in this direction, but somehow you're going to have to put a roof in here, and all these things just don't line up. Like this roof plane here, I don't know how that's going to work, but this is easy. Just join your roof planes, and that should just join up. The problem comes when you try to put in the rest of the roofs. No, that doesn't belong. Tying this area in. I mean, that's a no-brainer because this roof plane here and this one here are on parallel walls, so they'll form a ridge, but that same ridge isn't going to continue all the way to the front. And let me check some things. I just deleted a roof plane, and it just dawned on me, well, how come it was there? Let me check this wall here. See if you programmed it for anything. You did not. Okay. I'm just checking because I don't know what you did, but what you did may give me some clues as to what you wanted to do. Let's check in the pre-programming for the automatic roof generator. Okay, you didn't put any commands in there, and that's the reason there's a hip roof here and hip roof here, because that's what the basic programming of the auto roof generator is going to do if you don't guide it with some other input data. So probably this one, I don't know what it's supposed to look like, but I'm going to just put that back here, and that should work. See this part here, I guess that's the addition. I have no idea. And this, and it's, if we try to make one big hip roof here, then you're going to get too much overhang over this wall, and just the right amount here, and not enough here, and that's the reason the auto generator created two hip roofs there. I suppose this area here is going to be a covered porch. Again, this is a guess, but I don't know what you're looking for relative to help, but you haven't given me enough information to figure out what it is you wanted to do in the first place. Let me reread your post. That's not it. Here we go. Drawing roof manually. I'm having issues connecting it together. Yeah, that's obvious. Back outdoor room has a 212 slope. Back outdoor room. I don't see any outdoor room. Oh, that's the outdoor room. So this must be the 212. Well, it's not even a roof plane. That's our polyline. What is that? Polyline solid. Okay. Interesting. We'll look at this again. And when you post something and you ask for help, you have to kind of help the guys who wanted to help. Some clues as to what it is you can't do. This isn't even a roof plane. That's a polyline solid that you drew there, and that's okay as far as it goes. But if this is an existing house, then I would need to have a picture of the existing house or the postal address so I could look at it in Google Earth to find out what it's supposed to look like, because I certainly can't tell from what you've done here. I could guess, but what for? Why should I have to guess? I think, well, it just dawned on me, maybe this is what you intended to do. I'm going to take this and put it back where it was. We'll reconnect it up here. Okay. I mean, there might be a secondary ridge here. Just for the hell of it, I'm going to get rid of that. Connect this over here, and then make this into a triangle. Like I was saying, the overhang is going to be wrong here, but maybe it's supposed to be wrong. I don't know. This line here, I'm going to break it where it comes together and intersects this roof plane here. so we can create a higher ridge up here. I'm going to take that guy that I just drug up there and connect it to this side, which kind of makes sense. Now I just have to connect it to this roof plane and this roof plane here. Not that one. That one. Okay, we got a secondary. Let me show you what it looks like now. And if you're building this house from scratch, well, then you can make up your own rules. But if it's an existing house, okay, that doesn't work very well. And that's because the fascia is a different height on this roof plane than this roof plane, and that's kind of, and this roof plane, let me find out what that is. Okay, it's 98 fascia top height. And this is probably not 98, and that's what's causing the problem. Yep, different. 4 5/16. That's a goofy roof pitch. I never built a house with that pitch on it. Anyway, nevertheless, we'll leave it there. I'm going to lower this to 98, and then retie it in. See, it's going to drop it down some, yeah. And then we'll rejoin the edges since we changed the geometry of the roof a little bit. See, now we get a clean corner here. That's kind of why I did that. We'll do the same thing to the other side. Okay, now that cleaned this up. Now, who knows if it's correct? You didn't help me out with that data, so okay. Now this, see, now this and this are ridging, but we have to. This is coming in from a different different geometry, so we're going to have to break this ridge up again along in there, so I can move this line entity up roof a little bit, and then I'm going to connect it to this one, creating a secondary ridge, I hope. Well, it didn't work. Let me hit it again. My computer's lagging a little bit. Let me try that again. I need to hit F5 to start over. F5 would just refresh the screen. I wouldn't be able to select a roof plane. I was selecting a room dialog. Why is that working? Okay, let me go back to plan view. I intended to connect this to that. That won't go. You just shove it on there and then take a look. I hit Control Tab to go back to this camera. Okay. I wonder why that wouldn't connect. Okay, and then we're going to break. Now I can't select the roof planes again. That's been happening to me recently. It's probably just my own computer. I'm going to click on this roof plane. It's a little bit easier to do in plan view, and angle this up, and then take this roof plane and fill the hole in the roof there. I never use that dialog. That's the reason I just shut it down, because it doesn't work very well for me. So reconnect those edges and take a look. It's still not perfect, but it's quite a bit closer. Yeah, we got one little glitch. Whoops. Point right there. And the way I'm going to handle that, I'm going to go back to plan view. Okay. And we'll reconfigure these roof planes here. We'll put using the break line tool. Go back the other direction. Same thing on the opposite roof plane. Use the break line tool. Break it along that ridge. Go back in this direction. I'm going to rejoin this ridge here, but I probably threw it off a little bit. And then this line, I'm going to break it up in a similar fashion. Put a break there, and a break over here, and one in the center. Voila. So I made these two new lines here so I could join them. And this one, you can't assume that they're joined when you're doing manual roof editing. You just can't make that assumption. That ought to do it. Now, is this correct? I have no idea. But based on what you gave me and the geometry of the house that you drew and so forth, this will work. Let me show it to you in vector view. Where's the thing, oh Bob? That's it. I think it's easier to see the roof lines with the color off and in vector view. You can see that's all smooth except where you put this polyline solid over it. You could do this with a roof plane, but the way you've done it's okay. I wouldn't do it that way, but I know you're just learning how to do this, and it takes a lot of practice to get smooth with it like I think I am. So that's based on the data that you've given me. This is what I think should happen. Now, if there's something of the same thing, see, we got the fascia top's off back here. This should be here 98, and it is, and this one here is not. And if you're God, that pitch. Why you gotta have set to almost 2012? That's goofy. But anyway, if you want a clean line here, you have to. Well, I'm not. I'm going to say that's inexplicable to me, but I want clean corners, so I'm going to set the fascia tops the same. Whoops, wrong. 98, and then rejoin these edges, and that'll clean up this corner. And we'll use the join roofs tool. Boink. And that should make a clean corner. Even though the pitches are different, the fascia top geometry is the same because I forced it to that. And that cleans up that corner. Yep. But this being almost 2012 doesn't make any sense to me, but hopefully it'll make sense to you. And this is your plan and your mess, and you're welcome to it. Let's see. Yeah, I'd say that's fairly clean now. I can't tell if these fascia tops match because the corner's clean over here, so it probably does match. But I guess that's about it. And don't feel bad. When I first started editing roofs back in 1995, I made a lot of mistakes, but I learned a lot of things. And the way you learn manual roof editing is by doing it and failing and doing it and failing it at it, and then after a while you develop some judgment and you can actually make this thing work. Now, that roof plane doesn't look like 2012, but that's what it says. Oh, pitch in degrees, I see. Alright, it's like the one in the front, 4 5/16. My bad. I didn't notice that this was checked. And in most architecture, especially in Texas, it's going to be more usual that all these pitches match. And that they would be, the most common pitch used in Texas architecture is 512, at least for lower end tract houses. When you get into fancier, more expensive houses, then the roofs will get steeper. But for most tract homes, and this appears to be a tract home, they usually go with 512. But maybe you know something I don't know. Thanks for watching. I'm out of here.